Good morning, I'm Neil Sparks, 1954 graduate of this beautiful school and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2012. I have known David Nunneley for many, many years now. As a student, as a classmate and student, and as a friend. After graduation, he went into the Army to complete his military obligation. David then studied art and sculpture in many schools. He went to work as an illustrator for a company in support of the oil and gas industry. He was granted 5 U.S. patents and became vice president of research and development for a very major instrument company in Tulsa. After retirement, David was able to fulfill his pursuit of and desire to become a successful full-time sculptor. A few years later, when he was in Fayetteville, where I live, to show some of his sculptures in an art show, my wife, Kay, saw him and his work and then brought me down. And it turned out that I bought one of his sculptures, Settlers in Scissor Tails, which I proudly present very close to my Hall of Fame statue of Will Rogers. I have subsequently purchased several of his other sculptures. I have seen most of David's work of art in the greater Tulsa Green Country area and other parts of the United States. I have taken many folks to see these wonderful pieces. I'm truly fascinated by the precise detail of his figurative sculptures. In the fall, a 7.5-foot statue of Sequoyah, which he made, will be unveiled in Gilcrease Museum. The video you're about to see will tell and show you much more of my friend's work. Thank you.
I have been a full-time sculptor for right at 12 years, but I did not, right out of college, elect to get into the business of being a sculptor because I had kids. But after several different businesses that I owned and sold, I didn't start to sculpt until I was 65. This has been the best job I've ever had as a sculptor, and I work at it 5 days a week and enjoy every bit of it. I think I enjoy the research of the subjects I'm doing about as much as I do actually sculpting the person. And I have very eclectic taste because I like to hunt, fish, play golf. So most of the sculptures you'll see in my studio cover a wide range of subjects and people and things. I spend probably as much time or more researching the subject that I'm going to do, whether it's Washington Irving, Jack Zink, Sequoyah. I really want to know everything I can about that person before I start. I think doing figurative sculptures is of most interest to me because, for example, the ones you have seen here of General Patrick Cleburne, his history was just absolutely fascinating. I start with with a wire armature, and generally it's an 18-inch tall armature. And I start putting clay on it, and to oversimplify, I keep putting clay on it until it looks like who I want it to look like. And then the third figure you see here is a wax of the original. The enlarger does a digital scan of the wax mold, and then they return it to me in multiple pieces of styrofoam. So now I have to sculpt it again in the large size. So I put it all together, and once I have it pretty much like I want, then I start doing the detail. And I almost always take the head, take the pieces that I have, and I work on the head independently of the rest of it, and I try to get the best photographs I can, side views, front views, and then get the likeness that I'm trying to achieve. I think the history, the field trips, the variety of work I do, it sort of matches my own personality, because I do all of these things. I love fishing, playing golf, hunting, so it's difficult for people to look at my sculptures and say, well, what is your niche? I don't really have a niche. And I love the challenge of doing historical sculptures, because it makes me read about them now, where in high school or college I didn't have that much interest in it. But now I have a specific reason to really delve into the details of a historical figure.
J. David Nunneley, class of 1954, is a figurative, wildlife, and military sculpture artist. After graduating from Will Rogers, David served in the Army and then majored in art at the University of Oklahoma and the University of Tulsa. He received advanced training in sculpture at the Loveland Academy of Art in Loveland, Colorado, and the Scottsdale School of Art in Arizona. He then started his own oil and gas equipment company and was granted 5 U.S. patents for various oil and gas-related products. He became president for a subsidiary of a Pennsylvania utility company, subsequently becoming vice president of research and development for a major instrument company in Tulsa. In spite of his reputation as a business leader, David became a successful full-time sculptor in 1995, his most gratifying and courageous move. His bronze monument sculptures and smaller works can be seen throughout the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. One of his most notable works is a statue of the 3 Heisman Trophy winners and their Army coach, displayed at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Locally, David's work may be seen at the Tulsa International Airport, the Williams Center, Trease Performing Arts Center at Tulsa Community College, Floral Haven Cemetery, Indian Nations Boy Scouts of America, and the Tulsa Ballet Center. A 7½ foot tall statue of Sequoyah will be unveiled at Gilcrease Museum next October. David married his class of '54 sweetheart, Marilyn Shields. Please give a warm welcome to David Nunneley.
Thank you. This is a real honor for me. Seems like just last week I was sitting in those same chairs that you folks were sitting in. And I was 18 years old, but that was in 1954, and now I'm 80. And a lot's changed over that time, but some things have not changed, and that's that every kid that graduates from high school has a dream of what they want to do, where they want to go. And I had that same dream, and it's the same today as it was then. But my dad could not afford to send me to school, probably much like your parents won't be able to send you. So he said he couldn't pay for my college or my 3 brothers. So if I wanted to go, I'd have to figure that out. So that following summer, joined the military. I spent 2 years, and I came back 2 years later with the GI Bill.
And that's what I could go to college on. Now, my dream was to become an artist, but I was also realistic enough to know that artists didn't make very much money. They call them starving artists then, and they still call them that today. But I decided I was still going to go to college, and I put that dream of mine up on a shelf for later, and I took some art courses, but I also took science and math and other courses that give me a more well-rounded education. And then I got out of college. I took the very first job that was offered to me for an instrument company. I devoted myself to learning all about the products of that company, the people in that company. And ultimately, I worked my way through the company, and then I started my own instrument company. And then flash forward until I was 65 years old. And at that point, I decided I could take that dream job down off the shelf. And so that's how I became a sculptor. I took some courses in the summer after retiring, and anatomy, animal anatomy, and human anatomy, and that gave me the confidence that I could do this. And then next thing I did was grow a beard so I could look like a sculptor, and declared myself one. So I think if you kind of heard what I'm trying to say here is that you can change your mind. You can, and you don't have to capture your dream immediately. There's a whole lot of small goals that you have to take care of before you can get your biggest dream. And you have to, if I were starting all over again, I'm not sure I would change that direction because I enjoy the variety of my life. But you're going to graduate from what I think is the best high school in Oklahoma. And I hope that you have dreams, and I hope that you'll work hard to accomplish that, but be patient and be diligent, and I think you too will achieve